I'm joined here today by the bad man himself, Justin Tafa, set to fight Raphael Pessoa at UFC Fight Island. What's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, what's up, Lucas? Nothing much, bro. Chilling.
What's your current situation like, man? I know you're in Australia. I know over the world, out in the world, everything's kind of opening up. Is everything opening up for you? Like, are you guys allowed some freedom, or are you still kind of under lockdown?
Yeah, no, it's still a bit of a lockdown here. I know some gyms are open, but uh, apparently there's no contact allowed right now until mid-July. You know, like
And so,
no contact sessions apparently.
and so, are you able to train correctly, or is it still a little bit complicated? Because I assume training partners wise, things got to be pretty difficult.
Yeah, man, it's a bit tricky to be honest. Like, not gonna lie, it's not going to be as convenient as a normal camp, but with the year that's happening, so far, I'm just grateful to be able to put on the gloves again, and I don't care, bro. I just want to fight.
And so the big thing, like we said off the top, this fight's taking place on UFC Fight Island. What was your reaction when you found out what Fight Island truly was? Are you like one of those people that expect the palm trees, the beach, like a real island like in the movies? Like what was your reaction?
Um, I didn't really care. I'm from the islands, I'm from Samoa, so
Yeah.
it's nothing foreign or anything. So I don't really care, man. I don't care where it is. I just need to fight, need to get some money and pay some bills.
That makes sense. Was it kind of a relief when you found out that they were working on something for international fighters, so you guys would fight, and it wasn't just like the Americans?
Definitely. You know, we didn't know when, like, the flights will be open or, like as soon as they said that, I was like, yeah, chuck me on, get me on one of those shows.
And so, what was the reaction when the UFC was going to get you on one of those shows? I assume there's a little bit of relief too, some excitement, I guess, about fighting again. Like, what was kind of your reaction?
Man, I was just relieved, like missed out on the bonus that last fight. It would have been nice,
Yeah.
So I felt like I was deserving of it. So I just wanted to come back as soon as I can and just prove myself some more.
And so, one thing I am curious about in your career, you were, I believe, 3-0 as a professional, and then the UFC, they sign you. You end up fighting on, the big pay per view and stuff like that. Were you surprised that the UFC signed you so early in your professional career? Because it seems like some guys they wanted to wait, but you got picked up pretty quickly.
Yeah, I was, and when I set my own goals, I had it at the end of 2020. I was hopefully go somewhere international into one of the top three organizations. So yeah, it was like a year early, man. But it's something you don't pass by. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
just turn it down and be like, oh no, I'd rather fight in that pub for another year and I'll see what
Right.
chances. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, thank you, I appreciate it, but nah, man, I'd rather fight for shit pay somewhere else. But thank you for telling me that.
Yeah, 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 definitely.
But listen, I mean, they did you right. I mean, your first thing, it's like this big pay per view event. Unfortunately, the fight doesn't go your way, but it was like a very good place for you to get your debut at the same time.
Yeah, 100%. Like you learn a lot and you learn it quick. I got to feel the lows of the lows, especially in like highest attending UFC event. So it doesn't get any worse than that, I guess.
Yeah, it didn't go your way, but I think it showed people that you were an exciting fighter who wasn't afraid to bang with the big boys. So it was definitely exciting that way. Were you surprised that they knew about you though? Because I know, for example, for your last fight before getting to the UFC, it was, I was looking for the results of that fight, and it took me a few days before somebody finally came to me and was like, "Oh, Justin won his fight." Like, were you surprised that they were able to follow along with your career?
Yeah, man. That was probably the most surprising thing of that week was there was so much there was so much noise around me. Like like you said, I only had three fights and they were all local fights up in Brisbane and Queensland and Australia. And I head to another state in Australia, and man, everyone's just making noise. So I think that was the catalyst into pushing me into that main card when Holly Holm got in. People just love big boys and love you know, knockouts.
Uh, for For sure, and that's what you bring in every single one of your fights, so it's definitely an exciting style. Listen, before we get into this fight against Raphael, we did see on your Instagram that you got that nice little, the blue check mark, the blue verification thing. Was that something you were excited about? I know some people really love it, some don't give a shit. What was your reaction?
I didn't even know until a few of my friends were like, "Oh, you think you're bad with your blue tick?" And like, "Oh shit, I didn't even notice, man." But nah,
Yeah.
I don't really care, bro.
But did you notice like an increase in followers? I know some people they get more weird DMs because of it, more followers. Did you notice a difference at all, or is it just like, oh, okay, I guess it's there.
Yeah, I didn't get too many extra followers there. Like I got the blue tick after Melbourne. I didn't get too many extra followers until after my last fight. I think I had more than double.
Yeah, let's talk about that last fight a little bit. Obviously, I'm sure that's the debut you would have wanted with the UFC. But what was your reaction of going out in the big show and getting a knockout over a guy like Juan Adams?
You know, like I think I prefer the debut that I did have, because I learned a lot more and I got to see how I can react. You know, like a lot of people they lose a lot of spirit when they lose and they don't come back the same fighter. I like their second fight because you know obviously there's doubt in that and after 3 weeks I asked my manager to give me a fight, especially after that kind of loss. And it takes a balls to do that and I went into someone else's hometown and to be the home wrecker, you know.
Yeah, but I
But
mean,
no, it was
it
good,
shows
man.
the
It was a good thing.
But I mean, it shows the mental aspect too, and I feel like Australians and people from New Zealand as well, they're very good about not taking things too seriously and just kind of moving on and having sort of that good mindset. I mean, is that something that you would agree with?
Yeah, yeah. You know, like we're such a minority in this in the sport of MMA. We really want to prove ourselves and we really want to make that known, around the world that we're just spread tough on these ways and if we lose, man, we just stand up and run it back.
Listen, one thing I'm curious about, if you've heard about it or not, I know all the way in the States, the big thing that people always said is, you never mess with Samoans. Like, if a Samoan is, gets in your face, tries to steal your girlfriend, like, just accept it, man, because if you try to fight him, you're not going to win. Is that something that you guys are aware of?
Well, I don't know what Samoans are in America, man, but no, we're really good people, man. Like I've heard a lot that Samoans are very blue and red people. If when they're good and all chill and happy, man, they're good. But then you mess with someone in their family or something, there's a switch that's flipped, and there's no build up to it. There's no like gradual build up. It's either blue or
Yeah.
red. And you don't want you just see the red.
That's right. Something I'm curious about before we do talk about this fight for real, though. There was a movie that came out with The Rock and Jason Statham. I forgot what it was called. Hobbs and Shaw. And the big thing is they went to the islands of Samoa. They defended the island, did all that badass stuff. Is that a movie that you saw?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that in Thailand when I was prepping for 243.
Yeah. What did you think about it? Like, was it accurate or was it a little bit corny with the way they kind of did things?
Like amongst the Samoans, there was a lot of hate towards The Rock, but man did his best to promote our people. So I can't complain, man. If it's cheesy, it's cheesy, but just to get that recognition around the world, man, I'm proud of that.
For sure, man. That makes sense. All right, let's talk about this fight against Raphael, man. What was your reaction when that was the name that was brought up to you? Was this someone that you were familiar with before?
Nah, I didn't know who it was. I really don't know much of the stuff anyways. Besides like the big names that the Dos Santos and um, all the other guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
But oh man, I had a little look up and I just accepted it in I don't know, a couple minutes, maybe a minute.
And so, have you been doing? Have you been watching tape? Have you been preparing for him specifically? I mean, what's kind of your process like at this point?
Um, I just leave the video stuff up, to my trainers, and I just kick back and then they share their thoughts with me, and like what stuff will work for me, and just on that stuff, So some of his tendencies and that.
Are you going to be able to train the way you want to though? Because like you mentioned, things are locked down. I'm sure training partners is going to be difficult. Is this going to be the kind of training camp that's going to be good enough for you? I mean, how's that going to be?
I should be all right. I got two younger brothers that fight. Both of them were champion kickboxers. My little brother fights under the Glory banner, so they keep me honest. And he's more, he's better than 90% of the strikers in the UFC heavyweight roster right now.
Yeah.
So I'm not too fussed, man. Like if I begin to dwell on that and those kind of factors, then it just it just clouds your training. So I'm just banging on all my brothers, a couple of the other boys, and just hoping that I'll be, ready for a scrap.
And so what's it like when you grow up with a family like that? Because you're all fighters and everything. I assume everything's got to be super competitive between you guys.
Only the younger ones, man. When the older ones, you pick your battles, and and when to show your hand or not. But no, it gets fun. Like obviously when you're like competing with your brothers, you never want to lose. So
Yeah.
it keeps you honest. I'll say that.
Yeah, for sure. But with you being an older brother, I assume you've got a few advantages, like the older brother strength or being able to cheat without your little brothers finding out about it. Like you've got some advantages, right?
Yeah, but they caught up fast. No, they've caught on to my stuff, and I think they could be better than me easily. They'll catch up in a year or so.
Yeah, for sure. Listen, man, one last question, then we'll let you go. Last thing about this sort of UFC Fight Island, kind of an obvious question, but how do you see this fight going against Pessoa?
I feel like this guy's gonna try and fight how he usually fights, and I'm gonna knock him out. I don't know. I'm going for I'm just going there to show you as I always do. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna try to work my magic and clip on the chin. I know if I hit him in the chin, he falls.
Well, I know everybody's looking forward to it. I mean, I kind of knew it was going to be a knockout, right? Like we knew that answer was coming. But listen, man, thanks so much for the time. I really appreciate it. It's going to be a great fight. I look forward to it.
Nah, cheers. Nah, thanks for having me, bro.